I'm not going to lie. I genuinely think the Sheryl Swoopes take might be the worst take in sports history. This might go down as one of the worst takes in the history of sports. Like, how do you get it so wrong about both? How do you get it so wrong about both? And technically, she's can be let off the hook. How can you be hating on both of these players and be so wrong about both of these? I don't think Angel will come into the league immediately and dominate the way people think she will. Unless, and she could always say people thought she was going to average 20 and 15. She's leading the WNBA in rebounds. Nobody did that. More people thought she was going to be cut than average 20 points a game. Let's call a spade a spade. Like, that is, more people thought she was going to be cut than average that. And, oh yeah, Angel Reese is leading the WNBA in rebounds a game. That might change after tonight. It might change after tonight if, what's her name, is if Aja Wilson has anything to say about it. It may not change tonight, but she's still ridiculously good. And Caitlin Clark is leading the WNBA in assists. And you might be able to say, oh, but like people thought she was going to lead it. She was going to go out there and drop like 30 a game. And it's like, oh yeah, that's just completely delusional, people. There's a difference between like complete delusion and just being hyped for a player. But people hyped for the player thought she was immediately going to be one of the best players in the WNBA, and she is one of the best players in the WNBA. Maybe an all-WNBA first-team member, and if you think she should be an all-WNBA first-team member, subscribe. We are trying to hit 22,750 subscribers, and we are right now, we are 89 left. But if we could hit that today, that would be absolutely incredible. But you could see just how wrong Sheryl Swoopes is. And the funny thing is like, Sheryl Swoopes is there, she's embraced Angel Reese at their game. She made sure she embraced Angel Reese at the game where she played against Caitlin Clark. And then you can hear that she was also one that wasn't too hyped on Angel Reese either coming in. And then obviously she got more hate about the Caitlin. This is what, like, genuinely, this is the playbook of the we despise the Caitlin Clark mania. They initially were not the biggest fans of either of these rookies. And then when everything was about Caitlin Clark, they decided, because they wanted to be anti-Caitlin Clark, they're going to be pro-Angel Reese. And then once the double-double streak started happening, once Angel Reese became an all-star, once she started getting into those conversations as well, being like, these vets, these rookies are just way better than all the vets. She's already the best rebounder in the WNBA. Once she started getting herself into those conversations, a lot of those vets that were super friendly to Angel Reese, not necessarily they're turning on her, but they're now lumping Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark back in that same category of we're going against these rookies. Or, like most of them have, they've realized, oh crap, these rookies are legit. We can't say anything negative about them. They've either it's gone back both the same way. There are very few vets now. Other than like Shaq, who again, Shaq is former LSU, has taken Angel Reese under his wing, like, signed for Reebok. Shaq? Yeah, Shaq definitely has something to do with Reebok. So there is a big link there with her and Shaq, and that's like me hyping up what if there's ever, like, let's just say Gandhi Mamel makes to the WNBA in a couple of years, you better believe like I'm gonna be hyping her up as the best thing since sliced bread. So it is what it is. Like, if there is bias there, if there is a link, there's always gonna be bias there. But you can just see how bad this take aged. Like, that might be the one. This has to be up there with the worst takes. This has to be up there with the worst takes. It really does. Like, I'm trying to think of just... This is as bad as I don't give a damn about that kid from Europe. If you have the number one pick, you have to take DeAndre Ayton. That is as bad as that take. This is almost as bad, because she has to know better, as the person who said JC Sheldon is better than Caitlin Clark. This is almost as bad as that. This is almost as bad as that take. Like, we are genuinely looking at, and this is the worst part about this, and it happens in the NBA as well. We look at former all-time greats, and half the time they seem to just be given some of the worst takes. And Sheryl Swoopes is one of the GOATs. And the funniest part about all this is when Caitlin Clark is like listing the players in history, she makes sure to always add in Sheryl's, like, players in history she looked up to and paved the way. She always mentions Sheryl Swoopes. Like, she'll mention, obviously, Taurasi. Like, she's too young to remember Sheryl Swoopes. She'll obviously remember Taurasi because she's obviously still playing. She'll be old enough to remember Maya Moore. She was 9 years old when Maya Moore was drafted, so that was the perfect age to be a Maya Moore fanatic. Obviously, Maya Moore was her favorite player, being from Minnesota. Like, she's definitely would have been a fan of, like, Augustus. Throughout the years, like, when Collier got drafted, she's probably a fan of her because she still would have been in high school. So she's probably been a fan of a lot of these players, but she makes sure as hell to mention Sheryl Swoopes every single time. And it is funny though, like, Caitlin Clark gets it worse for not showing respect publicly to the people that paved the way. But Caitlin Clark has never once said, I'm growing the game. She's never once said, I'm growing the game. She's never once put anything on herself. She's never once said anything other than, when she's asked about the others, talked about the other people that grew the game, including Sheryl Swoopes. But yeah, the hate's there. The hate is there. Either way, though, it's good now that we're at the stage where, at least, I think, like, normality has almost resumed. Like, it's getting very close to the basketball conversations with these. Like, I think it's gotten to now the stage where Clark fans can admit, most Caitlin Clark fans can admit, Angel Reese is an elite rebounder. And most Angel Reese fans, very soon, are going to admit, as of right now, Caitlin Clark's probably the better player. Or if they're not going to say that, Caitlin Clark probably is going to get Rookie of the Year. Whether they think Angel Reese is the better player, they'll admit Caitlin Clark's probably going to get Rookie of the Year. Or at least admitting it's close. If the Angel Reese fans are admitting it's neck and neck or it's close, then you better believe it's on the side of Clark. And again, like, the Angel Reese crazies are hilarious. They are hilarious. Like, Sue Bird just got a doll name made after her, and they're all going berserk because the Barbie wasn't made for Angel Reese, even though this has probably been years in the making. The Angel crazies and the Caitlin crazies, you better believe, without both of those groups, the hype isn't there, but you better believe both of those groups exist. Both of those groups exist. But yeah, that is pretty much it. That is pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys agree? Do you guys disagree? I would assume you guys agree with how bad this take is. What do you guys think about it all? And hopefully, by the time the Olympic break comes, all this talk of what the legends were saying before the WNBA season started, and the fact that both of these players have proved almost all of them wrong, means that you can just get to being back about basketball.